Do you cite your work? Should you? It's a deceptively simple question, one that will be unpacked and examined by a pair of veteran game makers at the 2019 Game Developers Conference at this March. In a special independent game summit talk, game maker Shock Gage, Pocket Rampool, originally Bad Chess, and Bennett Foddy, Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy, will be presenting, appropriately enough, Put Your Name on Your Game, a talk by Bennett Foddy and Zach Gage. Their premise is simple: unlike actors, musicians, intellectuals, painters, poets, writers, directors, and producers, game designers often publish behind the anonymity of a company, even when working alone. Why do they do this? Where did this norm come from? Who benefits from this situation? And why should it be changed? This is a good talk to see, especially if you are lucky enough to have control over how you are credited in the work you produce. Expect to learn a bit about the history of crediting in artistic work, and what sort of benefits, in terms of visibility, sales, and connection with your community, you might reap from being willing to put your name out there. Further details on this intriguing talk and many more are available now on GDC 2019 session scheduler. There you can begin to lay out your GD 2019, which takes place March 18th through the 22nd at the newly renovated Moscone Center in San Francisco. Bring your team to GD, register a group of 10 or more and save 10% on conference passes. Learn more. For more details on GDC 2019, visit the show's official website, or subscribe to regular updates via Facebook, Twitter, or Gamasutra and GD are sibling organizations under parent company Informa. The game industry in 2018 saw events that will shift the future of games, landscape-shaping trends that will evolve for years to come. Developers and studios who set the bar high, and of course, games we will never forget. Here we present a roundup of our roundups to make your end-of-year game industry roundupping that much simpler. This is what the Gamasutra thought of 2018. Also make sure to check out the personal game of the year picks from Chris Graft, Alex Worrell, Alyssa McAloon, Emma Kidwell, Chris Kerr, and Brian Francis. Thanks for reading and sharing on Gamasutra. There are a lot of games released into the market every year, and we cover this trend. This inundation of games filling the marketplace. It's a trend that complicates the chance for success and recognition. From developer to developer, from game to game. That was true as ever in 2018. But among other stuff, there has not been a real complaint about there being too many games. We get it, there are a lot of games. But no one would say there are too many games if there were not so many games that were great. There were so many games that were great in 2018. Here are the 10 games that stood out in the minds of Gamasutra this year. Selections in alphabetical order. WAGNCELASTEFILST came out this year. I played it for maybe a half hour, and then stopped. I just was not in the mood for yet another hard-as-hell platformer. It was not until I picked it back up at the end of the year, when I completely fell in love with it, and appreciated what it was doing. Yes, the game is difficult, but the way the story addresses that difficulty, and emboldens the player to keep climbing, is absolutely brilliant. Celeste shows us that we can be our own worst enemy, but that enemy is still an innate part of who we are, and having a friend or to help you realize that along the way never hurts. Mechanically, It's a simple concept for a player to understand. Jump, dash, and grab. The game masterfully introduces players to the traversal mechanics, then sprinkles in new level design elements where players have to use those basic skills in new ways. It all just feels perfect. Chris Kraft, Bandai sponsored of .NET County is the perfect amount of video game. It's a funny, surreal story about remote control holes that is a joy to play. One that does not overstay its welcome. Alex Worrell. Before diving into where Florence is a unique experience, the developers deserve credit for making a game that's the perfect length of time, clocking in at around 2 hours. Florence tells a story about love at a great pace. The game takes the generic formula of a traditional relationship, meeting, falling in love, falling out of love, but it tells it in such a different way through effective use of simple mechanics, powerful score, and a unique art style. Games without a lot of dialogue, a text need to go the extra mile to convey an engaging and emotional story effectively, and Florence absolutely nails it. No story spoilers will be given away, because it's a game that needs to be played in order to fully grasp the impact it has. Florence is made for mobile, and other short, narrative games would find themselves a great home on the platform. Mobile is confined to a very small subset of mechanics, tapping, swiping, or holding an icon on your screen. Those constraints serve as powerful storytelling tools right for innovation. The game in its entirety is made up of small, digestible vignettes of very personal and intimate moments in adult relationships where both the good and the bad are shared in a special way. Make it well. 11-bit Studios. F.A.R.O.S.T. PUNKWAS the 2018 game I could never stop thinking about. From the moment my poor survivors eached the totemic generator, sitting in the frozen Arctic North, every decision I spent with this society simulator helped me reckon with the demons of authoritarianism and how much control and the lies you can tell yourself in the name of the greater good. Frostpunk's thoughtful design means that it's not just an arbitrary moral messenger here to warn you of the wills of a police state, a theocratic regime. It's crafted to guide you on a path of different paths of pain points, to remind you that just because you did not commit higher crimes against freedom, your lesser decisions still infringed on the rights of your people. And as the pressure drops, and your city is freed from the frozen snow, in a great sigh of relief, you will look at its become and see how even its physical shape was impacted by how much you do give up in the name of survival. Brian Francis. That Hitman's cool jobs the episodic format of that last rendition, but keeps a firm grasp on Hitman 2016, as charm and quirks as it introduces just the right dose of new mechanics, new levels, and new content to the last game's already tried and true formula. Hitman 2 X-Matic is in each of the massive sandboxes that each main story mission of the game is set in, and how it gives players the freedom to take complete ownership of their plans and assassinations. Whether the steps they took to complete those objectives were laid out by the game suggested or plotted out completely from scratch, while setting up a platform for another season's worth of depth and user-made content is an impressive feat. The team at IO Interactive also remade every level, both DLC and base Season 1, from Hitman 2016 for Hitman 2. It's an undertaking that no doubt took a considerable amount of work, especially since each legacy level manages to embrace the new mechanics and eye of Hitman 2 without losing the feel of the original. Between the legacy levels and the still evolving Agent vs. Agent multiplayer Ghost mode, Hitman 2 has become a game that both builds on the successes of its predecessor without shying away from risk. Alyssa McAloon. Nothing I have played conveys the sensation of snatching salvation from the jaws of failure quite like Into the Breach. There's a lot to admire about subset games' sophomore effort. But what's most striking is how often it sets up tactical problems that seem first impossible, then survivable, then solvable. It's my favorite strategy game since chess, and the remarkable follow-up to Alex Worrell, Marvel's Spider-Man is just one emotional pit stop for the web-headed hero who's had a hell of a 2018. He gave his life in the film Infinity War, has reframing his own heroic origins in Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse, and when given a shot,